evening, gentlemen. We are now back to another installment of my channel. So let's get going. We don't want to make a long one, Other people get bored. I don't want to bore anybody. Let's make it exciting. And today we are going to discuss something that affects the United States. Now you know the Russians have invaded Ukraine. Wrong, right? I'll not comment on it. But this is not the first time such an event has happened in world history. And now we have instances much earlier of the Americans doing the same thing at least 30 to 40 times more. And that's the fact, friends. America has done the same thing so many times. Joe Biden is now leading the charge against Russia. What he wants? He wants Russia out of the G8. He wants Russia out of the G20. He applying all sorts of sanctions on Russia. Why? Because he's fighting for a place in history. That's a fact. He's fighting for a place in history among the long legion of American presidents after Roosevelt who have been mediocre. They did nothing. Maybe Trump was a little ahead, but the others were just washout. They picked up the economy, carried it forward, which was there during the time of Roosevelt and to an extent Truman, and they just carried on, frittered away, fighting here, there, and all that, and then got defeated at every stage. So Biden, who suffered a very catastrophic defeat in Afghanistan, will give a very bad name to America. Now wants to make amends. So he's picked on Russia because Russia is not economically strong. Now there's a point. He'll not pick up China. You know what's he saying about China? He says China is our competitor, it is not our rival. Maybe because there's a fat purse, a lot of money coming from China to his son. There are a lot of American channels who have said it's happening and it's happening. Well, you can't help it. There are people like that. But this is what he said about China. But about Russia, he says the enemy. Because Russia is economically not strong. But then he's got a very limited horizon. He doesn't realize that the same stunt was tried in 41 and 40 against Japan, and that led to World War II. And I have a feeling that this is also perhaps going to lead to World War III. Let us not forget that the last two world wars, the epicenter was Europe. The Europeans can't live in peace. They've been fighting for 1,000 years. There was a 7-year war, there's a 100 years war, and all sorts of famous battles continued in Europe. In 1870, Bismarck's army came up to Paris. They surrounded, they did a siege. And what the Prussians were eating, they started eating the zoo animals, the tigers and elephants and all that. As a fact. So the Europeans have a penchant for fighting amongst themselves. And Russia is also a European power. Now let's not forget that. So this particular adventure of the Russians, which has been engineered by Mr. Biden, could really boomerang on Biden itself. Because if you look at history, America has always been fighting wars and they've been losing all the same. And wherever they go, they spoil the whole place. Look at Libya. It was fine under Gaddafi. They went after Libya. Now Libya is broken in two factions. There's internecine warfare. Everybody find Turks are coming in and so on. It's carrying on. They went into Iraq and they have become declared persona non grata there. They just can't enter Iraq. They're hiding inside some caves or something like that. So they went to Vietnam. They got defeated badly. And mind you, it was not because of lack of firepower. The Americans dropped, in terms of tonnage, more bombs on North Vietnam than they dropped on Germany in the entire Second World War. So you just imagine. Just think over. What is all this? Afghanistan, we all know. I want to talk about it. It's been a chaotic retreat. In fact, I once referred to it as the mother of all retreats. It was the mother of all retreats. So he's there to make his, brownie points with American masses and come up, and his rankings are pretty low, as below Donald Trump. See, Trump was a better man. He's a better leader. I won't say he was a great man. There's nothing great about it, but he was a pragmatic man, and he had realized that NATO is now an obsolete organization. It's got no meaning actually. What the hell is NATO going to do? All the small countries, have been enticed into NATO: Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, Belgium. These countries got no meaning in the world, in the economic sphere, anyway, nothing. So what for they are joining the Americans? I mean, that is the thinking. Well, we survive. America is going to help us. America is going to help anybody. If they wanted to help, they would have put their boots on the ground. Their special forces in Ukraine never did, and they left Mr. Yerensky up the garden path. We're going to help you. If you read the old statements of Joe Biden, he had what one stage said, that the doors of NATO are open for Ukraine. Why the doors shut now? So the Americans are no better than the Russians, and they are not in a position to preach to anybody, least of all to India. Now they are criticizing India. You're going with the Russians. You don't know what atrocities they've done. But they've forgotten for 7 decades they were arming Pakistan against India. In the 1971 war, the president at that time, Richard Nixon, who threw in the towel to Mao Zedong, he sent the 7th Fleet to India to try and save the Pakistan army in Bangladesh. And this gentleman, Nixon, then finally went to China and he said, "Oh, I won't bother about Chiang Kai shek. Chiang Kai shek can go where he wants to. I want to be friends with you. We'll trade with you. We'll do everything with you. And we guarantee that Taiwan will not be an independent country." Now, there you are. I mean, what the hell is going on? So, America is not a nation to be relied on. And the situation is Biden is incompetent man. And one spark from him, and he continues in this destructive manner. Now, the NATO's held a big, bloody military exercise. It's big by their standards because their armies are pretty puny. And they were thinking they're going to overawe the world, they're going to show NATO is such a big power. But there's a conventional weapon in a conventional war, they're going to win anywhere. And once all these NATO countries decide, and Putin has made it very clear that I have no hesitation in using nuclear weapons. They're carrying out nuclear drills. So Biden must beware. He must beware. That's the point. But he doesn't seem to. He doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He's going and meeting in Poland. What's he going to do in Poland? What's he going to do in the meeting with all these people? He doesn't inspire confidence. That is the reason uh, Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia and the chief of the UAE, they just refuse to talk to him. So we're coming to the end now. I don't want to take more of your time on this issue. The fact is, the seeds of the Third World War has been sown in Ukraine, and that is the point which I wish to make. Just as the First World War took place after the Archduke was shot dead, and the Second World War took place after the Treaty of Versailles imposed humiliating conditions on the Germans, this war is going to take place because of the American plan to humiliate Russia and take out its teeth, make it a toothless tiger. It's not going to happen. There's going to be war. And unless Biden backsteps, I see nothing in future. Biden has to bite the bullet. He has to step back. Does he want the destruction of Europe? Countries like Belgium, England, they won't survive. 4 or 5 bombs, thermonuclear bombs all over. What this bugger's talking? The exercise is going on in Norway. What for? Call it off. Live in reality. Okay, gentlemen, thanks a lot for listening to me. I hope Third World War doesn't take place. But if you like what I've said, then please Like my Chota video, share it with your friends, your girlfriend, your father, daddy, mommy, anybody. It'd be nice, and it'll be a great flip to me. And at the same time, I must say goodbye to you all and Jai Hind. All the best. Take care and be a good person.